Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for DJ Jeremy Brech with CHAUVET DJ.
Thank you. I love it. Our presentation here today is called Creating the Experience, because as you know, this is the entertainment experience this year. This has been a very exciting conference for me to be a part of, because now it's kind of that gem, that one thing that I always looked at and said, the first time I came to Mobile Beat, I said, I want to be on that stage someday. And Bill and Jason gave me that opportunity. CHAUVET DJ gave me that opportunity to present to all of you. So I'm extremely excited to share some of the things that I can with you guys. So creating the experience. What we're going to do first is we're going to talk about the different things throughout this presentation on turning ordinary into extraordinary. And what I mean by that is, truthfully, some of the most exciting places for me to entertain and to do lighting are places that are a blank canvas. I would rather have an ugly warehouse and turn it into something magnificent. And there's a lot of people that when they're looking for reception halls or they're looking for a place to have a corporate event, they're looking for that place to be unique. But you as a lighting designer is what makes it unique. That's what makes the difference, and that's what puts the cherry on the top to really make it special. We're also going to talk to you about how to not outsell yourself. Okay, there's so many DJs that, oh yeah, well, if that DJ can do it for this much, I'll do it for less. Don't outsell yourself. And the other thing, the things that you're doing, always look at an opportunity to make yourself better and give yourself a better income. We're going to show you how we created the experience. All of the wash lights, the zooming washes, you know, I mean, there's simple fixtures here that any DJ can pick up and do some great things with. And we're going to show you some of the tools that we used here in this show. Excuse me. We're going to show you how to improve setup time and aesthetics, because to me that's important, because as to all of you know, time is money. We're also going to show you how to exceed your expectations or exceed your guest expectations or your client expectations. And then I'm also going to bring up Nick from CHAUVET DJ, and we're going to have a little product review on some of the new stuff that's coming out. So there's a lot of exciting things out there, and we're gonna walk you through those. As I click through. Okay, there we go. So, turning ordinary into extraordinary. First of all, you have to take over the environment. Okay, when you came into this room, when I set this place up last night with 2 hours of sleep this morning, all of the lights, if we came into this room the way it looked when we came in to set up, it would be a very stale environment. And that's because the house lights have to be controlled by the lighting designer or the DJ. You're the one who has to take the initiative to make the design work. So you have to look at the thing, you know, what are the house lights? Are they dimmable? Can you dim the house lights? Do you have issues that you're going to run into with curtains? You know, can you close the windows? How do you take out the sunlight? Because as you're doing lighting, you have to make sure that you are controlling the environment. And one thing that I would recommend doing, if you're not currently doing this, is always do a site check. Always make sure that everything, that you know exactly what the room's going to look like, what you want it to look like, and make sure that you have the right equipment to make that happen. So again, taking control of your house lights. Fluorescent lights are the most stale light you can find. Dimming cans and chandeliers, and then know where your switches are at. And that was one thing when I came in yesterday. I started walking through this building. I could not find the switches whatsoever. So luckily, you know, I found a person that worked here, and I had to, again, dig in deeper to find more details about the facility. And if you don't do that, and all of a sudden all these lights are on and you go into a first dance or you go into a very special moment which is supposed to be intimate, and you didn't do your homework to find the switches or, you know, the things that you needed to create that environment, you didn't do your homework, so make sure you do that. So this is what I was talking about, an old warehouse. This is actually, it's SDN Communications, which is a facility in my market or in my area. And they are basically hurricane proof, but in South Dakota, we don't get a lot of hurricanes, so we're probably okay. But this is an all concrete building. There's no windows, it's all brick, it's all concrete. And the client said, we have this big ribbon cutting coming up, and we really want to, just make this really, really interesting for people when they walk in. So just by adding wash lighting, adding simple lighting, gobos, whenever you're doing a corporate event, make extra money by branding their event with their logo. And you can make a building look like that. So again, it's just simple wash lighting. And all of the things, again, that you see here are things that you can be doing. All you have to do is have the right fixtures and know how to use them. So educate yourself on how to use your fixtures before you just go into a place not knowing what you're doing. This is another facility in my market, and the first time I went into this facility, the bride asked me, she said, "Do you do uplighting?" Well, of course, yeah, I do uplighting. Every DJ does uplighting. And so I saw pictures of a DJ who did uplighting in this facility. And I just kind of shook my head because these are only like 9 foot, 10 foot on the side walls to where the ceiling starts. So really, you lose a lot of visual element because of that small ceiling space. I'm sorry, because of that small wall space. But when you look at a facility and you look at this as if it's maybe a tent, you add some lighting, and then also when guests walk in, what do you want them to see? What do you want them to feel? And you need to brand that wedding to make it extraordinary. So we mounted all of the lighting into the ceiling and made a beautiful ambiance when guests walked in. Again, it was something completely unique. And that facility, this picture is actually from 5 years ago. The facility still uses this picture out of any photos when it comes to selling their facility. Here is, again, what I would consider a blank canvas. This is the convention center in Sioux Falls. And all of you work with air walls, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Mitch. Mitch is the only one who works with an air wall. So when you have an air wall, again, that's a blank canvas. And by doing simple things like adding patterns, you can create a theme, you can create textures, you can create something unique. And they were doing a very woodsy outdoors feeling. And then they were also doing a very warm orange feel. And we used our digital wireless uplighting, which allows us to control the lighting, dimming, fading, color changing, all those different things. So when we add that lighting, it just adds another dimension to it. So we could have just sold them on uplighting, but we looked at this as an opportunity to really make their event stand out from all the other weddings that have been there. So again, those are the simple things that you can be doing is look at a facility and say, how can I make this better? Always look at an opportunity to improve something or take it to the next level. So I talked about don't sell yourself short. That happens all the time. And what I mean by that is, how are you selling your lighting? Okay, when you booked your flights, did you ask the pilot what kind of controls they're using in the cockpit? No, because all you cared about is it was going to get you to point A and to point B. And it's the experience or what's created with the lights, or when it comes to a pilot, all the stuff that they have in that cockpit, it doesn't matter as long as it's going to get me my end results and get me to where I need to go. Don't sell lights. I hate when people say, "Oh yeah, we'll give you an uplight for $15 a piece," or again, you have to sell the emotion, you have to sell the experience, and that makes all the difference. There you go. Sell the experience as a result. Clients don't care about RGB. They don't care about RGB-AW. They don't care about RGB-AWV. But us as DJs care because those are the tools we need to create what they're looking for and what they want. They don't care about LED output. All they want to know is when they walk into the room, is it going to be bright? Is it going to be beautiful? And is it going to make that ambiance that you promised them? So you don't have to tell them how many gigawatts things are. Just give them exactly what they want, and that's the results. Don't get technical, get emotional. And that is one thing that I've learned from a lot of my mentors is when you truly put someone in the position and make them feel the results, it makes all the difference. And again, if you start talking the amount of watts or the amount of color combinations you can make. They don't care about the 10 million color combinations you can make. They care about the one, and that's their color. And this is what I call the Toyota effect. If you watch this next commercial, you will notice that they don't tell you about the things you don't care about or the things you don't need to know. They just show you what happens in the end.
Let's pitch our dreams.
It's interference, pal.
Let's wake them up. Make it real. Let's not let anything hold us back. Not even 292,000 pounds. Let's keep our head in the stars, our feet on the ground. Nothing will be beyond our reach. Toyota, let's go places.
Okay, so what can you learn from a commercial like that? Yeah, exactly. They don't tell you the gear ratios. They don't tell you the things that you really don't need to know. They don't tell you about the torque. They know you don't care less on how big the engine is. And they don't tell you about the wheelbase, how wide the wheels are, all that. Again, I mean, think about this stuff when you're going into your lighting, when you are selling this to your clients. So what do they show you? They show you the results. They show you the excitement from the crowd. You saw the emotion from the crowd, people taking pictures. I mean, everyone's going nuts. You have this pickup pulling this huge space shuttle. And what does that mean? There's no doubt it's going to pull your boat. Now, don't outbid yourself. Venues are starting, how many of you have noticed venues are starting to carry a lot more uplighting, or they're starting to do a lot more of those things? Okay? You feel like they're taking advantage of some of those opportunities that are taking away from you? Okay? They don't have the upper hand because a venue will typically set a light and call it good. Okay? When you have the advantage over the venue, your couples are not afraid to invest good money on an experience. And that's how it has to be sold. Don't price drop and undercut the facility. You're just going to make them mad and they'll never recommend you. Okay? Think about how you can become better and don't undersell them, but oversell yourself. Make yourself that top tier that everybody wants to get their lighting from. Again, it all comes down, don't be a bidding war. Don't try to outbid the other person. And this is what I call the cell phone effect. How many of you remember when you bought your cell phone, when cell phones first came out, you had to pay for voice, basically to call somebody. Remember you had to pay for minutes? Everybody remember that? Okay, awesome. And then you had to pay for caller ID for that to show up. You had to pay for text messaging. It was like 15 cents a text. Well, all that stuff is free now. And now there's a data plan war going on, which is great for us, right? It's great for the consumer, but it does the cell phone companies, it doesn't do them any good. And this next commercial, what you'll notice is, again, we'll give you this, and this, and we'll just slice the price in half. I'm not going to say they're going to run themselves out of business, but they're taking away opportunity because they're trying to undercut the other people instead of give them better opportunities.
It's a brand new day for data. Introducing the new Sprint Family Share Pack. 20 gigabytes of high-speed data for only $100. It's enough for the whole family. That's double the data of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. And now you can save $60 per month over AT&T and Verizon. And when you switch to Sprint, we'll buy out your family's contracts. The Sprint Family Share Pack for the whole family. 20 gigabytes of high-speed data to share on up to 10 lines, unlimited talk and text, all for just $100 a month. It's the best deal in data. Come into a Sprint store today.
Okay, again, nothing against Sprint. I currently have 4 gig of data, and I seem to be doing okay. But again, and now you're going to see the next company trying to underbid them and give more, underbid. And when you start underbidding yourself, you're going to run yourself in the ground. So always look at the way to make yourself that goal. Make yourself where people want to be, and not, I hope I never reach that point. Best way to do it is own your market. Do the things in your market that others are not doing. You will inspire them. You will raise the talent in your market. And now everybody in your market will then walk away being the top in the industry. And what I mean by that is you basically are raising that bar. You're raising the standard in your market. Imagine if everybody raised their price instead of everybody trying to lower their price. And you'll actually probably learn that from Mark Farrell tomorrow. Don't do the same thing, just do it better. Don't badmouth or undersell your competition. That is one thing that I really feel is a pet peeve of mine. Because if you can't do a good enough job to outsell your competition, then you're not doing a good enough job. So do better at what you're doing. And then, my last commercial. This is what I would call the Ford F-150 effect. And the new Ford truck that came out, there's a lot of innovation going into it, and they kind of talk a little bit about some of those details. But they're selling this truck like crazy because they thought outside the box. And if you do that as a lighting designer, you're going to be off.
Forward march to the next generation and a brand new age. To the future and the future of tough. Introducing the all-new Ford F-150, the first and only pickup with a high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body, up to 700 pounds lighter, so it can haul more than any half-ton pickup on the planet. Over 100 patents, so you can work even smarter, and every single square millimeter tougher. Towing the most of any half-ton pickup. Change it. This is the all-new Ford F-150, the future of tough.
So you saw that they started showing or giving you a little sneak peek of that innovation. Don't give all of your secrets away. Otherwise they'll say, well, yeah, everything that you showed me sounded awesome, and I'm just going to have this DJ do it. So again, just be better. And what you notice in that commercial, they have over 100 patents. I can't even fathom 100 patents, but I want to find out what they are. They have cutting edge technology, and they use technology to create a better experience. You saw the gentleman walking up to the back of the truck and the tailgate comes down. There's some people that probably think that's one of the most amazing things, and they'll buy the truck just because of that. Excuse me. Grab some water here. So again, win the war by doing things better and instead of trying to outbid yourself. Here we go. So how do you make money with all this lighting? How many of you currently have lighting? Okay. Now, why did you invest into lighting? Why did you ever get into lighting? I'll just take one person, yell it out loud. Why did you get into lighting? Okay. That's a lot of one answers. But yeah, we all want to make money on this. And when I go into an event, I don't look at it in making money. I look at how can I make this experience better. And the money part is the bonus of it all. If you go in thinking, I'm going to make more money off of this, you're going at it wrong. You need to look at the experience that you're creating and then consider that your bonus. So how do you make money on this? Well, I'm gonna run through this quick because there's a lot more things that I wanna really get into. The uplighting. You know, what you see here, the uplighting that we use, these are actually moving head wash zooms, and you can sell these, you can buy them for, I think right around $700, $750, go talk to the IDJ Now guys. But you can sell these for $200 per fixture or sell it by the effect. So a current event that I have coming up here in March, we basically we sold them this idea of creating moving uplighting, zooming uplighting. And when we can do that, now they start looking outside of the box themselves and say, wow, you mean I can have more than just a single color that's going up a wall? When you can create that experience, it makes it more exciting for them and it makes them want to buy into that. So there's some really great return on investment. Uplighting, 3 to 4 events, and your uplighting can be paid for. Cocktail tables, how many of you have ever put a light underneath the cocktail table or a table and let the table just glow? Okay, that's a really cool effect. Corporates love that stuff. And your return on investment on that, they've got the Easy Wedge. Easy Wedge is a great fixture to use because it's battery powered, and it also is, it's an RGB LED fixture, so you can just put it underneath the cocktail table, and if the cocktail table gets moved, just make sure you strap it in there, and it just goes along with the table. So again, doing simple things with your lighting can be very effective, and it also gives you a fast return. Ceiling wash. The wash lights that we have here, basically as soon as we aim those into the ceiling, we can create a beautiful wash into the ceiling. That's actually one of our easiest sells anymore, is the ceiling wash, because now we can contrast someone's room with uplighting being one color and then a ceiling wash being another color, and it makes a huge difference. Gobo projections. The Easy Gobo, which is a brand new fixture that CHAUVET DJ just came out with. I just did a video, and I don't even know if it's live yet, but you can actually get your images printed on, do you remember the old carousel slide projectors? Yeah, no? Okay. Well, anyways, you can get your gobos printed from them for $1.49 a piece in full color. I used to buy my gobos at, a full color gobo would cost me right around $450. I could sell it for $500 and I could make $50 off of it. Now I can sell it for $500 and only spend $1.49. That's a pretty good return on investment. So your return on investment on that is like 0.0000003 events. So again, there's some great opportunities. Gobo projections. Corporate events love gobos. They love seeing their branding. They love seeing their name anywhere in the room. Next one I want to go into is the moving logos. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but the moving heads that we had going on, and actually you will see it when we go through the creating the experience part. The moving logos, again, if you put that logo or that gobo in a moving head and you make it just spin or you make it just rotate across the room, we do a lot of these in when we do a corporate event, and it's like golf tournaments. We'll put our moving head mounted into the tent, and we'll just have the logo scanning across the tent. And they'll easily pay $250 to $500, maybe not 500, maybe $499. So again, I mean, you have to look at an opportunity and see, you know, is it something that I think they would invest in? And if it's not, then sell it to them. And don't just sell it to them one time, but every time you get that gobo made, you only have to pay for it once. But when they come to you, they have to pay for it every single time. So again, you're looking at a fast return on investment on those type of things. Textures and patterns, I love textures and patterns. You saw what we did with the trees. We actually sell more textures and patterns probably than we do uplighting anymore. The return on investment, again, you're looking at a very fast return on investment on that. Pin spotting, the easy pins. How many of you are familiar with the easy pin series? Okay. I love my easy pins. I hated pin spotting. I used to just hate it until the easy pin came out. And now it's one of the easiest and one of the best sells that I can have when it comes to an event. And I don't sell the fixture. I don't say, oh yeah, I can put a little flashlight up there and shine it down. You know, you have to show them that you're gonna spend $60, $130, $150 on a floral. And then once all the lights go down, it's lost. But if you can show them pictures of this is at 10 o'clock at night, this is 11 o'clock at night, you notice your investment in flowers is still being noticed by all of your guests. Same thing with the cake. They're going to spend over $300 on a cake. Why would they not spend $45 on a pin spot? Or why would they not spend $90 on a cake spot? And the other thing too with the pin spotting is using the ellipsoidals, which actually we're using for the stage wash here. Those ellipsoidals are great when it comes to framing a cake. Outdoor lighting, how many of you do outdoor lighting? How many of you do outdoor lighting with IP65 fixtures? Shame on you. We have a lot of IP65 fixtures. IP65 means that fixture can sit outside and it can downpour all over that fixture. There's no open fans, there's no electrical circuits that are going to be open, so you don't have to worry about it shorting out or anything like that. They're great fixtures. And again, if you have these fixtures and your competition doesn't, guess who they're going to come to when they need reliability on an outdoor event? They're going to come to you. So invest in outdoor fixtures. CHAUVET DJ actually has some DJ line IP fixtures. They also have a Pro line, which is their Colorado series. And I mean, if you really want to pack some punch, these are really bright lights, the Colorado series and the IP fixtures that the CHAUVET DJ line is. We have the PARs and we have the linear strips, and they're a great fixture. We're very happy with them, and we actually lit up. I should have put it in here now that I think about it. We actually lit up Falls Park, which is kind of our monument or where Sioux Falls got its name. But again, it really creates a beautiful ambiance outdoors, and again, it gives you that it gives you a huge advantage. Atmospheric effects. The geyser, which you saw earlier, I don't know if maybe you didn't see them earlier, but the geysers are great effects, and I'm actually going to show you a little bit on how we use the geysers. Obviously at a wedding, you probably don't want to do that during a first dance, unless they are dancing to Metallica or something. But the RGB fixtures the RGB geysers are a great return on investment as well. And the haze and foggers, haze and foggers are a little bit harder just because you can't really sell a hazer or fogger unless you're renting it. How many of you guys rent equipment? How many of you rent lighting or you rent sound out? Okay? If you don't, I would maybe start looking into it, because we probably do easily 20, 25% just on rentals, where someone comes, picks it up, all we do is program it ahead of time and say, there you go, if you have questions, call me. Typically, we have instructions or we troubleshoot it enough with the client so that way we don't have to worry about it. So again, rentals are a good thing. Hazers and fog, again, they're very atmospheric, so lasers, obviously, very important to have a hazer. But the Nimbus is by far, and actually I just had a conversation with Nick over at CHAUVET about this. I cannot believe how amazing the Nimbus is for first dances, for any specialty dances during a wedding. Or look at on the other side when you're doing a Halloween event or you're doing a theatrical event. Again, they have to go to somebody for these fixtures. I have people that are 6 hours away from me calling me for lighting and calling me for atmospheric effects. And I ship it to them, or they'll come and pick it up from me. But again, when you have this stuff, they will come find you. So have those things available. Okay, I think, okay, yeah. Now remember, you are the professional. They are coming to you for answers. And you have to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing going into that facility, going into that meeting with the client. And there's a lot of very important things to be thinking about when you're going into a facility. How can you improve the way the room looks, not just visually with the lighting and the ambiance, but what about the aesthetics? And I'm talking power cords, I'm talking cables. When you can use a Freedom series or you can use some of the Easy series, Again, the reason I hated doing pin spotting is because I had to run power cords through the ceiling. It was the biggest pain in the butt. It used to take us to do a room of about 28 tables. It used to take us about 2.5 to almost 3 hours just to pin spot. Now with the easy pins, we're done in about a half hour. They're amazing. So again, take advantage of the opportunities that these lighting companies have created for you. Chauvet has created some amazing fixtures because they're looking at the DJ and saying, what can I do to make their job and their life better? And again, to me, aesthetics are very important. Power cords, hidden power cords, or no power cords. To me, that's important. Same thing with photographers and any other facility or any other type of management or people who just want to make sure that the bride and groom's end results are great, which hopefully you're doing that. So how do you upsell the upsell? How do you outsell your competition? How do you outsell yourself? It is easy. Digital wireless lighting. If you look in the back, the totems that you see lit up, those are the Freedom Hex. They are the RGBAW UV fixtures. And everybody there was a couple of people that came up and asked me, they're like, so I see power cords ran to those, but how are you getting signal to them? And that's because we're using the Freedoms as the receiver and we're sending signal up to those lights up top. There are so many advantages to using digital wireless uplighting. The advantages, again, you don't have to worry about power cords. Everything's battery powered. You don't have to worry about cords running across doorways. Excuse me. Okay, so if you can show the client a picture where there's no power cords or there's no distractions in that setup, they're going to look at that. There we go. They're going to look at that, and they're going to see that as an opportunity because, again, it shows that you put the extra detail into their reception. You made sure that all the flaws were gone. There are no power cords. Everything just kind of disappears. And you can, the Easy Series, there's the Easy Par, there is the Easy Wedge. Those are not DMX. I'm sorry, they're not wireless DMX, but they are battery powered, which again allows you to place them wherever they need to go. Now, you can upcharge someone and say, here's a picture with cords, here's a picture without cords, and these are only $10 more a piece. Or this is only so-and-so much more for this result. Or you can show them what digital uplighting does, when you can control the DMX, you can do the fades, you can do the chases, you can do all those things. And again, then you can start upselling yourself instead of trying to undercut someone else. It cuts down on your time, and again, I said this before, time is money. So always make sure you look at the easiest way to do something as long as it's being done well. You don't want to do something where you took the shortcut and it didn't get you the results you were hoping for. So, as you read this statement, what did I do in this presentation? What do you see right now, just on the screen? It's not, not around the room or anything like that. What do you see in this room? Or, I'm sorry, gosh, sorry, 2 hours of sleep will do that to you. What do you see here that all of your clients are now going to start expecting at their receptions? What do you guys see? Anything? Yeah, it's the moving ambiance in the background. In the video, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but there's a movement there. And now that's what your clients are going to start wanting. And if you have the right fixtures and you have the right equipment to do it, it makes it an easy sell for you. Here's a picture. This is actually my Freedom's like way over on the other side of the room. And then my dance floor going on, you'll hear my awesome mixing skills. But you can see how much of a difference it makes when that lighting actually becomes, when it's alive. All right, you won't hear my awesome mixing skills. There we go. So it just creates that much more energy just by doing simple things like making the lights change with the beat of the music or making it just go along with the feel of that room. Next thing I want to show you is, again, don't be afraid to show them these videos. Don't be afraid to show them the experience that you can create. And this is actually, and the reason I did this rainbow effect, just so you can see the different color movements, but what you'll see here is you'll actually see, like if you follow one color, it'll just kind of chase across the way. So again, these are simple things. How many of you use digital software like Show Express? Okay, so all this is all just done in Generator. Generator is one of the coolest things, and I don't even know if I could do lighting without Generator anymore. I did a workshop on this last fall, and look at an opportunity in a song and how can you enhance that opportunity with your lighting. So you'll see, here's part of the hit from Journey. So all it was just a simple guitar riff and just a simple strobe with a wall, and it makes a huge difference. And you'll see kind of a build here. You hear the excitement from the crowd now? Yeah, it's a fun song, but the atmosphere has to create that fun as well. Okay, so now we're going to talk about creating the experience. And again, I'm going to run through this as quick as I can because I know a lot of you are hungry. I know I'm starving. I don't want to hold you guys too long. But again, there's a lot of magic that happens with lighting. And every single thing that you saw in this room today that you'll see in the next couple days, you can do it. All you have to do is understand what you're working with and really get inspired by your own work. Okay, so the programming is all done, again, in Show Express. If you do not know how to use Show Express, I actually have my shop time videos that walk you through the beginner stage of Show Express. Mikey Mike is another person who has some great videos out there to kind of walk you through and explain Show Express, which is Mikey Mike out there? No? All right, well, I was going to give him a shout out, but forget him. Again, I can't even imagine trying to program lighting without Show Express anymore. If I tried to use an analog board, I would pull my hair out. So the first thing I want to show you is in the back, those are the Freedom Hex. And they're the RGBAW UV fixtures. And they're a very nice fixture because, obviously, the color mixing, but they can be ran on Flare Con Air. Does everybody know what Flare Con Air is? Okay, Flare Con Air, you can actually run all of your Freedom series or any of your DeFi boxes. You can run all of your lighting with your smartphone. It's an amazing product. You can also, right now we're actually hooking it up, you can run it through the DMX, so if you have it coming out of your computer, you can run it that way. Again, or you can actually run it with your cell phone. You can have your color wheel, everything right there. It's pretty amazing. It's a wireless DeFi, and that's what is running our moving spots up there, and basically becomes a wireless receiver. It can be used for spot effects, so if you wanted to actually put it up on trussing, aim it down into a stage, or if you wanted to use it as a spotlight, works great for that. And then obviously truss warming and the obvious uplighting. Yeah. Okay, that's good. The CHAUVET DJ Geyser RGB. A great fixture for club events if you're doing EDM parties, anything like that. Obviously it works as a smoke machine, but with the RGB color diodes, it allows you to really do some color mixing as well. It's a blast effect, you can do strobes. It's an excitement builder and great for sporting events. Clubs, concerts, talked about that already. And here is, this is actually our local minor league hockey team. We actually rent these out to the hockey team in my area. And again, I mean, if you're not doing rentals, something to think about. But they're a great fixture to be using for this type of thing. Okay, so you get it, right? Again, very cool. And actually rented these out for more than what I paid for them. So they basically bought them plus some for me. And again, they're a great atmospheric effect. The other thing is the haze machines. Right now, there is no haze in the air, except for the fog that just went off, but there's no haze in the air. And if you're doing any type of lasers, if you're doing any type of beam effects, hazers are a great way to accent those without overdoing it with a blast of fog. It enhances the atmosphere. Okay, so the CHAUVET DJ LFS 75 DMX, these are ellipsoidals. They're a great framing spot, framing cakes, doing stage framing, and then also monogram projections. And again, you know, look at the chances of printing off your gobos. I can tell you these, they do get warm. And if you just use a regular transparency, it will melt that transparency. So don't go home and start printing off transparencies or going to Kinko's or anything like that. Get the right type of stuff that would work with this, and make sure you test it before you go out and try and tackle a corporate branding for $500 on their logo. It also has a built-in color wheel. And on the front, I don't know if you can see it or not, on the front there's actually a color gel holder. So if you wanted to do a color beyond what's on the color wheel, you can also take advantage of that. This is the Flarecon that I talked about. It's a power, the transmitter, which is sending out signal. And you can use your smartphone. It's a pretty amazing little piece. And CHAUVET DJ did a great job of bringing that out. So we can go ahead and show them the Scorpions, except again, there's no haze or no fog right now. Jeff, you want to fire those up? The Scorpion Duos, they're a dual laser, 50 milliwatt. They're a great light. The sky effect, or what we call liquid sky, does a really cool effect, and it is an IRC. So if you're thinking, well, I don't know how to do DMX, yes, I did DMX these, but they have an awesome standalone. There's an auto built in, and then it also has an IRC remote, so you can actually change the effects of what it's doing. And it's FDA approved. Does everybody understand that the Food and Drug Administration manages all that? It's ridiculous. Okay, so creating the experience with the CHAUVET DJ Intimidator Wave IRC. I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I first saw these things, I thought they were ridiculous. Like, what would I ever use these things for? And then I actually got to play around with them and pretty much fell in love with them. They're an amazing beam effect. I'm never a big fan of using multiple colors and things like that with something like this, but the standalone colors are very vibrant, and they do a good job of cutting through fog and cutting through haze. So multi beam effect, club effect, you know, kind of give you this wave effect. A lot of great things from this fixture. There's also, they have a new 360 as well. But again, if you're just doing clubs, if you're doing EDMs, these are great fixtures. They're not, you know, they don't wash. They're just more of a beam, and they'll cut through, like I said, they'll cut through fog pretty easy. The blinder effect, basically shoot them into the crowd, and we'll do that throughout the week, so you'll see that. Okay, so the 355Zs, I love these lights. I have, I think we've got 4 of them right now, 4 or 6. And the 355 is a zooming fixture. The Z stands for zooming. So you can actually make the image bigger. You can make it smaller. And it works great for spotlighting. So for spotlighting the stage, which are really bright. But that spotlight gives you, again, it gives you a lot of opportunity. You can dim these down, which I would recommend that. But they're super bright. They're a 95-watt LED. And the cool thing with what CHAUVET does with their LEDs is they actually drive their LEDs to 95 watts. And I'm not going to get into the technicalities of all that, but if you talk to a CHAUVET DJ individual, they will explain that for you. I'll leave it at that. Wash light effects. And you're thinking, how can you turn a spotlight into a wash light effect? Well, all you have to do is put it into a tri-prism and zoom it as big as you can. And then the other thing is just take it out of focus. And now you have a wash effect. Do we have that, Jeff? There. So that's the 355s. Again, just a tri-prism, a textured gobo. It's actually the glass gobo that's in the fixture. And just zooming it out a little bit. And then obviously you can change colors. You can do, what I actually like to do is use the color overlap. And when you do that, it actually makes a really beautiful, a beautiful scene up there. And actually, there's a sequence in this that you will see some of that color overlap. A beam and spot effect. Again, it's a very tight beam because you can zoom it in. A nice spot effect means it will zoom out. So you can get a nice big image with a gobo or a logo or anything like that. Speaking of gobos and corporate branding, we talked about the gobos or the logos kind of scanning across. In a tent, you can do those anywhere. And I can tell you, I know Bernice CHAUVET, and yeah, she's back there. Anytime there's an opportunity to brand, you do it. And that's why I'm doing it right now. The next thing is the ambient effect. People are like, well, if I got to get rid of my mirror ball, what am I going to do for my slow dances? And again, all you have to do is just do simple things, tri-prisms, using the textured gobo that's in there. And you can put other gobos in there. It's got a nice slide, or I'm sorry, a nice panel on the top. You pull the gobo out, it's a slot lock, put the new gobo in, drop it in, and you're good to go. It's very easy. I've had other moving heads where you have to sit there and unscrew the top panel, take that whole thing off, find the screw that you lost, trying to figure out where that's at. It's a pain. A zoom effect, and I don't know if I actually programmed this in. Try it once, Jeff. No. Well, there's the lights. Now, the zoom effect, again, and actually you will see it throughout the week. We did do it a couple times this week. Basically, again, expanding, contracting, and just really making a nice visual effect. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next thing. Let's go ahead and cut that one, Jeff. Thank you so much. And the next thing is the 350 IRC, and it's the wash zoom, which again gives you a beautiful wash. They're super bright, and that's what you see on the sides, which is currently red, which was on the red. And those wash effects, again, you can create a nice ceiling effect or a ceiling wash. And if you don't see it right now, again, just watch for it during the show. And I want you to notice these things during the show and say, oh yeah, so that's what he was talking about. And if you don't notice it, then maybe I'll shoot something up on here that says this is the wash. But again, there's simple fixtures that can do amazing things. That can do ceiling washes, they can do uplighting, they can do motion uplighting, color chasing. Do we have that? Try it again. Okay, yeah. So basically the uplighting is, oh, you know what? I think turn the uplight off on zoom wash. Is there a front wall wash? And it's got a snowflake for frozen. Okay, so there's the color. There's the color wave, color changing. I think that's what it is. But again, you can do some really cool things. And then also the motion uplighting. You probably noticed that the uplighting isn't just standing still. And maybe you noticed it as well, but when there was a part of the song where there was some hand clapping, we actually had the lights basically creating that hand clap. Did you guys notice that at all? Okay, start noticing that tomorrow, please. I put a lot of work into that. Appreciate that. The zoom chasing. This is one of the things that I really enjoy, using these fixtures is because, again, this is uplighting that isn't your normal uplighting. You'll notice, and again, if we can't see it right now, you will notice it. You'll notice it tomorrow. But you'll see the fixtures just get bigger, smaller, and just kind of chase through the room. Again, it creates such a beautiful ambiance, and it creates such an energy, and it's something so simple from a fixture like this. So the next thing I want to do is, Nick, are you on? Nick, are you around? Awesome. Nick, come on up. So anytime I have troubles or questions, I ask Nick. And you have no idea how stressed out I was this morning. If you guys know anything about Show Express, my child page was not showing up. Oh, no. Right? Yeah, I know. So I was missing a whole panel of my lighting. So I come over to Nick. He's like, yeah, I'm working in there. So then I asked Alan, and Alan got it figured out, which was amazing. But this man is a genius. You might have seen him on Disc Jockey News TV. Did you guys watch Disc Jockey News TV? Yeah, awesome. Okay. Nick is very smart, and he's very good at what he does. All of the lighting, all of the product that you see that CHAUVET DJ makes, Nick probably has a hand in that. Well, Nick does have a hand in that. Does a great job, and what we're going to do is we're just going to talk a little back and forth about some of the new, what I consider the new generation of some of the things that they have. And this is stuff that you will actually see on the show floor tomorrow when they open at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So tell us a little bit about the Slim Beam Quad IRC. Quad means what? RGBA.
Correct.
Okay. And what's the output on something like this?
So these are 4-watt quad LEDs, and this is actually kind of a different type of light. This uses beam effects going up a wall. So you can do what we like to call wall art. So the wall art can actually make, I like to kind of think of the wall as the palette. You make your nice little colors on the wall and whatever. This takes it to a whole nother level. So here you can do different effects across like the wall. It's pulsing the different little beams coming out of it. It also allows you to really control the zone and where your actual light is going. The really cool thing about the Slim Beam Quad, which you'll see tomorrow in the booth, is that it covers a massive area. Just one light can cover a very, very large area. And obviously, it depends on the size of the ceiling you've got, because the farther it goes up, the farther the Slim Beam Quad will cover. So, really cool stuff.
Yeah, and if you look at this, I mean, if you look at the wash lights that we have, or just an uplight, you'll notice it kind of diffuses on its way out. This thing is so tight on the edges, it creates a really crisp edge and just gives you something different. Now, another way you can use this is maybe mounting it onto your speaker and just aiming it into your crowd. And now you have different beams going on throughout the crowd. So again, a really cool fixture. And they did a great job putting this one together. I'm excited. I actually haven't got to see this thing yet. So that's why I brought Nick up here. The next thing the gig bar, which is obviously hot for DJs who want something quick. They want something easy. They can just pop up. And it has how many different fixtures?
We actually like to say it has 9 effects in it. Okay. So it has 2 derbies, 2 pars, 4 strobes, and a laser. So it's got everything you could possibly want in one bar. Really quick for set.
And the pars are how many different diodes?
They're actually 3 diodes. They're RGB, and they are actually, I think they're 4 watts for each die. So that means you get a total of 6 dies at 4 watts.
So now you're looking at a beam effect with the derbies, and then you also have a wash effect, which gives you, again, something different. So you can do a nice, beautiful wash during a slow dance, and then when it's time to kick off the party, you got the laser and you got the derbies. So very popular, and you guys just launched that.
Yeah, we did, and one of the things, the key features with this one is that it's designed to be controlled in a lot of different ways. It has a wireless foot switch, it's got IRC control, it's got 3 different versions of different ways to control the DMX, or we like to call personalities. And one of them, my favorite one, is 9-channel, because it's very simple, specific colors and everything, and you can control the effects and stuff. So if you're not a master at DMX, you can still make it look like you are a master.
We can all use that some days. The CHAUVET DJ Easy Wash Hex IRC, again, this is an IRC remote, allows you to control it with the remote, and is a hex, which is an RGB AW UV fixture. And a lot of people always ask, why would I ever want UV? And you will, again, I will show you throughout the week the intensity that you can make with hot pinks and just the purple that it creates. I have people, well, can I use that to use for my black light party? It's not great for a black light party because these are not wash effects. These are, I'm sorry, this is a wash effect, but like the freedoms that you see in the back are not wash effects. This is a wash effect. This is actually going to illuminate a table if you want to put a certain color on the table. The battery life, do we know?
We generally like to say 6 to 8 hours on full white. Now, the thing you got to remember with hex LEDs is they actually have a white dye. So you get a lot more time out of just that one white and actually making a true white than running the 3 colors or RGB up all the way. So you can really maximize the efficiency of the battery by running just that one color.
Sure, and it's got a magnet. You can just pop it up on the rail. It also has the scissor clip, as you can see in the picture. And then that little hook that you see, that little loop, if you are doing any bistro lighting, if you're doing any lighting to, or the little paper lanterns, again, that little hook is going to give you an anchor point, and you know, the decorator or the florist or whoever, they're going to be thankful that you're there because they probably didn't have the right tools. Well, you have the tool that's actually made for that specific application. Again, it's all ran by the IRC remote. You can put it up where you need it. You can come back a couple hours later, turn it on, and you're good to go. Saves your battery. Again, it's great for color washing, but also if you're spotlighting a food table, or maybe you wanted to a cake table, or just the dining tables in general, it's a great fixture to look at. Now the Truss CL tent, which is actually a clamp in clear spans. Anybody work with clear span tents? Anybody work with tents? Does anybody own a tent? Does anybody camp? Okay. So this is for event tents, which is clear span tents, and they actually have, it's almost like an I-beam, and these are designed for those purposes. And the stories I hear with these things, the people who own these rent them for ridiculous prices. So if you have them, again, you can rent them for ridiculous prices, or you don't have to pay ridiculous prices because you have them. If you're currently not doing clear spans, maybe you should start looking into clear spans, because people who are investing in clear spans are investing good into their event. 300 pounds, correct?
330, for sure. We're better than, you know, we like to under promise, over deliver.
It's an error. I messed up. And again, it's great for flying clear span tents and lighting, trussing, all that. Now I'm really curious about this because I don't know too much about this fixture. I think we have 8 of the Intimidator Spot, the originals, and then I see they come out with a 150. So I'm curious, tell me about the 150.
So the original Duo was a really cool light because it had a lot of built-in programs and things like that you could use to make really cool effects without having to do a whole lot. We decided that after a lot of people saw that more as a beam effect, whereas the Intimidator Spot is more of an actual spotlight. So you get gobos, really well-defined gobos. They're 25-watt LEDs, so they literally are just 2 150 heads on one really convenient bar.
Cool. And you know what, we use ours in a production level. And what I mean by that is we're not just using it and letting it go crazy on the dance floor. We're using it to spot the cake cutting. We're using it to spot the entrance of the door when the bride and groom comes in. So these have so much opportunity for you to look outside of this just being a DJ fixture. You know, take one step at a time. Start with something like this, then make your way up to a 350, then make your way up to a 355, and grow yourself into your lighting so that way you're not making a huge investment and hoping that you know how to run it. We actually set these right underneath our speakers. There's a shop time video on it. Go search for it. And it's great for entry level, and it's great for, you know, people who are taking it to the next level, because it does give you the opportunity for more of a production style. I talked a little bit about printing off your gobos with the slide. And if you go to CHAUVET DJ's website and you go to this fixture, the Easy Gobo will actually have a pattern that you can just basically put your image in that pattern, send it to your slide company, and they'll print it to the exact size that you need. So they've already done all the homework for you. All you have to do is just go to the website, download is it a PDF?
I believe so.
Yeah, so just download the PDF, put your image in there, send it off, and buy it for $1.49 and charge $500 if you want. So again, this is a battery-powered gobo projector, and it's zoomable as well, correct?
Yep, zoom and focus.
Okay. And again, the reason that you notice a lot of these fixtures coming in white is because what's the color of most of the ceilings that you're working in? Brown. White. So we talked about the transparency gobos. Again, there's a lot of opportunity there with the transparencies.
That's a 10 watt LED. You'll get about 6 to 8 hours of runtime out of it. It just depends on the room, obviously, and the ambient light in the room, because obviously if you're in a room with a lot of light, you're not going to be able to throw it as far. It's really meant for about, let's say, 10 to 30 feet, somewhere there.
Okay. And then I think we're getting towards the end here. The CHAUVET DJ Freedom Strip Hex 4, which is basically like your PARs that you see, except this is more of a linear, and it's battery powered. It's also the Hex series, which is RGB AW. And again, it's FlareCon ready. And it's more of a wash effect. What is the beam angle on this?
That's a great question.
It's a great question, and that's something you can ask the guys at the booth tomorrow.
Yeah, one of the things you got to remember about having a strip fixture versus a par fixture is that you do cover a lot more wall because they are spread out and they again cover a huge area in comparison to the standard par.
Excuse me, these things are all battery powered. Do they also have an option to be plugged into the wall should you want it for a longer event?
Absolutely, yep.
Of course.
And then I think this is our last one, which is the Funfetti shot. Well, it's a confetti machine, if you didn't get that. And the cool thing is you can actually get all these different color refills and things like that right from CHAUVET DJ, or obviously whoever sells CHAUVET DJ products. And you know, to have that big bang at the end of an event, or you know, that grand entrance, or you know, New Year's Eve party, confetti machines are a great option to make those fun things happen. And they're not CO2, which a lot of places won't allow CO2 because it's compressed air. You can't take compressed air or tanks into some facilities. So again, this is a great option. Same thing with the geysers. It's that CO2 effect, but it's not CO2. So it gives you a lot of safety options there.
Do you have to use confetti from CHAUVET for that?
You don't, but of course we'd like you to.
Yeah, you could just get a piece of paper and a hole punch and just, yeah, I mean, go at it for a while, but.
But is yours like, okay, ground doors, biodegradable, blah, 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 all the best places want?
Well, I mean, we have 3 different types of confetti. There's a standard paper, there's a mylar, well, it's not actually mylar, but it's a plastic like mirror finish, and then we also have a UV reactive. I wouldn't really recommend doing the mylar outside unless you got a really giant shop vac, because you don't want that stuff ending up in like ponds and rivers and stuff. But the paper types will disintegrate. We certainly don't say that they're biodegradable, but the thing you got to remember with confetti is that it's generally something that it's a throwaway, just like fog juice. So you're going to be getting rid of it completely.
Yeah, and don't eat it.
Nah, don't eat it. Of course. Sure. That's an awesome question, and we've actually heard that CHAUVET listens to a lot of the stuff you guys have to say, and that's part of the reason we are so good at this. And that has actually been an awesome. Pardon?
The question is, can you access beyond just the color options with the FlareCon?
Sure. Right. Yeah, and it's a constantly developing thing, and we've heard that from other people as well, so that I can, you know, read between lines here.
My recommendation is just open up the color wheel and just go like this.
Just circles.
All night.
But then again, you know, if you want to take it to the next level, there is the option to use Show Express, and actually Jeremy right now is running a FlareCon Air as a DeFi hub, so. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, everything's always in the process, so everything's always improving. So it's such a new technology, and it's an exciting technology with the FlareCon that, yes, I mean, as it develops, it's going to get better and better, and it's going to make life easier and easier. So, so just going through final thoughts here, uplighting is just a light unless you give it personality. And again, what I mean by that is if it's just a light that's sitting up in that room and it's one color, it's just a light. But if you give it personality, it now becomes part of your performance. And everything that you do should be part of your performance. Positioning is power, and what I mean by that is when you don't have to worry about cables or cords or anything, then you have the flexibility to do whatever you want with your lighting. And that's what the Freedom Series allows you to do. That's what the Easy Series allows you to do. Again, flexibility gives you the advantage and it gives your clients the advantage. Anything you do beyond your performance is a distraction. So keep that in mind when you're programming your lighting. Make sure that it's going to enhance that performance and it's not going to take away from what you're doing as a performer. Education on CHAUVET DJ Academy. Jeff Short, if you get a chance, go visit with Jeff Short, today through the rest of this week. He has put together an amazing DJ Academy, CHAUVET DJ Academy, which is education, and it kind of touches base on more than just the lighting aspects. And yes, there's entry level, so if you go in there and be like, I already knew how to plug in a mic. Well, I mean, that stuff is just out there because they are there to educate everybody. They're not looking at say, we only work with this type of client. They want to help everybody because we all have been there. They want to make sure that they're there for the person who just starts to the very advanced. And that's what Jeff has done with CHAUVET DJ Academy, and it's always expanding. Jeff is always working on something for CHAUVET DJ Academy, and he's doing a great job with it, so thank you, Jeff. And then I always recommend doing some type of hands-on workshop, doing some lighting workshop, the DJ Academy. Take advantage of my shop time videos, okay? They're out there, they're free. And it's simple things on how to do this, how to do that, how to place an uplight, how to put an easy pin up into the ceiling. I mean, that stuff is there to make you better at what you do. And I encourage you to go away from this conference and say, what am I gonna do tomorrow that's gonna make my 2015 exceed what I did in 2014? And if you can do that, you're gonna inspire yourself to become better at what you do. Nick, I appreciate you coming up. Thank you so much. Let's give Nick a round of applause again. Again, I will be at the CHAUVET DJ booth tomorrow at 2 o'clock and also Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I encourage you to come up, shake my hand. I mean, I'm not that cool. I just want to meet a lot of you and answer questions. I want to hear what you're doing in your markets that makes you really thrive at what you do in your lighting design or what you do in your performance. But come check us out tomorrow. Thank you again, CHAUVET DJ, for allowing me to be here, and enjoy the rest of the experience, guys. Have a great night.